Welcome, you have reached Emperiol Sports, and let's get into this video. And today we're going to discuss KD and Kevin Durant makes some comments on the podcast that a lot of media is taking dislike to. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment at the end. Let's get into it. So Kyrie made the reference saying basically in so many words, and I'm not saying exact or putting words in his mouth, but in so many words, he's basically just insinuating that you don't need coaches to come in to disrupt what we already been doing. If we already been doing a certain thing, we don't need a coach coming in and say, okay, we're going to do it this way. Just because. And they made reference to um, like sometimes Jacques Vaughn could be the coach, or somebody, or Kyrie could be the coach, Kevin Durant could be the coach. So they kind of insinuate not valuing the coach position as much, saying basically they don't pretty much need a coach to get the job done. So a lot of backlash is coming behind that because it is moments where the coach can see things that the players don't see and can give a philosophy uh, to help out the team, especially when things get thick of games. Now, when you're thinking about to be able to pull that off, what they're talking about, you got to have floor generals. You have to have people who uh, have high basketball IQ on the floor to pull that off. And so when you think about Kyrie, who pretty much before LeBron came back to Cleveland, he was in the league, had an injury at Duke, only played like I think like 11 games, got drafted number 1, went to Cleveland. Cleveland sucked. He wasn't really. I mean, he was showing that he had good. He could score. He had good ball handling skills, but Cleveland wasn't winning. And I think he had just signed back, and as soon as he signed back, they brought LeBron and back. LeBron came back, and it was always rumors that it was some rift that he really didn't ever want to play with LeBron. But they signed him back before time. They didn't tell him LeBron was coming back before time or something like that. And so when LeBron came, instantly Cleveland became a winning team. They had David Blatt as the coach. His philosophy and LeBron's philosophy didn't mesh, but LeBron is a what you will call a floor general. A lot of people give LeBron a lot of flack or talk about whatever they don't like about LeBron, but you can't say uh, he doesn't really make people better. Lakers team last year, 2019, was the first time we actually seen where it was like he just couldn't get it done, and that could be um, the players or his mind was somewhere else, or the injury, or just old age. He just can't pull a team by himself no more. Stuff he was doing in Cleveland. So, and even before the injury, he injured a groin. They was like in a fourth spot. So one could argue that if he would have never got injured, they still would have made the playoffs last year. Now he came back off the injury last year and talking about I'm in playoff mode, and pretty much they lost. They was losing to teams that they really, if they're gonna make it, they had to beat those teams. So they pulled LeBron, and he didn't play. He didn't make the playoffs last year. But back to Kyrie and Durant. So you get Kyrie. He's at Coach Black, and LeBron got, and they were winning the second season. with LeBron being there, and all of a sudden we seen out of nowhere Coach Black um, was fired. In came Tyronn Lue. So that was the same year Golden State went 73-9, and in the finals Golden State was up 3-1, and Cleveland came back and took the championship from Golden State. And many people believe that, well, even though Tyronn Lue gets respect for the championship, but they kind of looking at it, you really more won that because of the talent you had. You had a player in LeBron who's a student of the game and high basketball IQ. You had a solid player in Kyrie Irving who has I don't know if I want to completely. He has some basketball IQ, but I don't want. See, I think a lot of people like they get like when if you hear Kyrie's interviews and you say, "Oh, this guy is a bright individual," or whatever. I can't really give him high basketball IQ like LeBron. You know what I'm saying? He can have basketball IQ, but I'm saying when I say high, I can't really call Kyrie a floor general because the moments when he was out there on his own before Cleveland, before LeBron came back, Cleveland sucked. Look at when I say floor generals, look at Chris Paul in New Orleans. Go look up that roster. When Chris Paul was in New Orleans, see who he had. He had them boys rolling. So, that's a floor general, high basketball IQ. So I can't really give Kyrie that. When Kyrie went over to Boston, traded from the Cavs, he was kind of injury prone. He wasn't really a floor general out there. But the year before, Boston just went to the conference finals, so I can't really get that to him. And if you're listening to this video and you want to argue about it, well, have at it. He still got something to prove out there, but he has a high meter for talent. So you figure if you mesh him up with somebody else that got a high meter of talent, they could get it done. So that's yet to be seen. But yeah, let's bring it back, wheel it back in. So you have Tyronn Lue. So that's why you get the theory where you see where Kyrie is coming from, where he's like, well, you don't really necessarily need like a coach, Popovich and Phil Jackson, those type of coaches. You don't necessarily need that. Just need somebody in there that can say a few things, tell you what they think, and then pretty much, fall back. So you had Durant, who had, I think he was Scott Brooks. I think they had Scott Brooks when he was in OKC. I think they did get Billy Donovan before Durant left. I believe that was the case. And he really looking at those coaches like, they didn't really help us get the job done. But Scott Brooks did get y'all to, as a young Kevin Durant, Westbrook, and Harden, did get y'all to the finals where y'all faced LeBron against the Heat. Y'all didn't get it done, but was that Scott Brooks, or was it y'all just didn't have the meter to get it done at that time? And Miami Heat was in full mode where we get ready to handle business. So you get Durant to go to Golden State. I don't know. We all seen Mark Jackson facilitated that team, got that team together, got that team up and running. Then whatever happened with him and management, they let Mark Jackson go, and then in comes Steve Kerr. First year come in, they get a championship. Was it Steve Kerr's philosophy? Was it? Kevin Durant comes over. Steve Kerr also was the same coach that lost the 3-1 series. They brought in Durant. Durant pretty much is out there. I don't know if he's looking at Steve Kerr as that he learned from him, or was it more of a well-oiled machine team already in place? You had Draymond Green out there, and you had Clay with the shot. Steph Curry just going crazy. He fit right in. All I gotta do is knock down shots when we need him to, when it's needed. So he might be looking at Steve Kerr as like, well, he didn't really do much. And then don't forget, was the first championship that Durant was out there? It was a good portion where Steve Kerr he had health issues or something like that, and you had Luke Walton filled in for a long time. That's how he ended up with the job at the Lakers and get the head coach job out there. Was another point where Mike Brown had to fill in, and Steve Kerr came in got his health together and came in like the last minute. So I can see where the perspective of Durant is looking at. Well, them 2 titles I got at Golden State, Steve Kerr was there, but not really. I can't really tell you what his strong philosophy was. He's a good guy. He did give input, but not strong enough where I feel as though we're sold on needing a solidified coach. So in comes Kyrie, first year at the Nets, injury prone again, and you have Kevin Durant recovering from Achilles injury. Now they in this podcast talking about Steve Kerr, he got the coaching job. So a lot of people took, they didn't like that. That Steve Kerr got the coaching job. They didn't feel as though he deserved it. He wasn't like he was an assistant coach first, and then he basically just coming right off the porch and jumped straight in, and he's a coach for whatever he was doing out there, because of he was a point guard. He was a floor general at one point, and he could give great input. And I think was rumors that he was friends with KD at some point there. They developed a relationship. So kind of just, all right, boom. So they looking at Steve Nash should be the coach, but it's really he just there. He gonna give his input from here and there, but we got this. And they got some proving to do. KD, what is he gonna look like out there? Has he recovered from the Achilles injury? Most players that have the Achilles injury don't come back. They don't got the explosion no more. They don't have the lift that they once had. One player that did survive and come back was Dominique Wilkins when he was with the Clippers. Averaged like 24 that one year or whatever, but he still wasn't the human highlight film no more. Chauncey Billups had an Achilles injury, but he's a point guard. He played to the ground anyway. Good thing Durant has is his game is predicated more on his jumper, and he's tall. He can shoot over people. So we're gonna see. But part of his game also is that he wasn't like exceptionally fast, but he could move around enough where it still made him elusive to get off his shot and stuff. So that's gonna be interesting. If he doesn't have that movement to move around, will he be able to still get his shots off and stuff like that? We've seen what happened to Kobe. Kobe was never the same. Kobe came back off from the Achilles and they injured his knee, and they said it was the knee who really did the job, but I think the Achilles really shot Kobe. He dunked here and there, but his explosion wasn't there no more. It just wasn't, So Achilles does take players out. It's not like an ACL. You see guys bounce back from an ACL, but the Achilles, it takes away the explosion or whatever. So with all that being said, KD, Kyrie has some proving to do. The jury is still out if they're going to be able to put this together and make some real noise. Everybody would think they will because of the upside of both players, but we're still going off of upside. We got to see if it could work. A lot of it's going to depend on two things, in my opinion. Kyrie's health. Can he stay healthy enough? Because he's been injury prone his career. And how well Durant bounced back from off the Achilles injury. And if, You can't have one without the other or whatever. That's what makes it work or whatever. So we'll see. Leave your comment what you think. Subscribe to the channel and like the video. Till next time.